Boom. Okay. Dr. Alicia Watkins, social worker, professor, couples coach. Bam. And the woman that does everything, the wheels of steel, Tiara is here. She is our beautiful, one of our beautiful executive producers. And so that's what we have going on today. Welcome to those of you guys in the comments and the chats. Greetings to my queens up here on the stage. Before I get your all's opinion, we're going to go to the video. We're going to start with the video for those of you that have not seen it so that you can understand and know what we're talking about. So let's cue up the video and we'll start there.
Broke. Investing in my dreams. You know, when you're investing in your dreams and you dream big, you're always going to be broke. You'll have a lot of shit, but I don't have no money for nobody else. That's what you call broke. But that's what it is. Long dreams.
So he says he is broke. $100,000 is broke for him, right? He said he is broke because he is a person who invests in his dreams. When you have big dreams, you invest big and you lose big. What are your thoughts? We're gonna start this off with Constance because Constance is a real estate investor. She out here spending her money. What are your thoughts?
My money. I'm investing, but I don't invest to go broke. That is the antithesis of why you invest. It's not to go broke. You take risks. You take calculated risks, but you don't invest and intend to go broke. And it sounds like he's doing it, but it sounds like he's making an excuse for why he's broke. He's broke because he made some bad investments. He didn't invest so that he can go broke. And so I don't want anybody to take that and think this is what I do because Dame Dash did it. Dame Dash has access and proximity to things that the average person doesn't have access to. So when you're looking at investing, please take a risk, but take a calculated risk.
What are your thoughts when you see and hear that, Dr. Alicia, from a psychological perspective? When you see somebody talking about, I'm broke because I make risks, or I take risks, I dream big. That's why I'm broke. That's how I lost $499 million. And what, 900? Because he only has 100,000 left. My math might be off. What do you think when you hear that psychologically?
Well, it sounds like his big dream has turned into a big nightmare when it comes to finances. I think that I love the idea of investing in yourself. Like, that's a beautiful thing, right? And just as Constance said, you have to take a calculated risk. And even if you calculate everything, sometimes it falls apart. And if that happens, the key to trying to build everything back up is to just stop, relive what happened that fell apart and go, where did I go wrong and what can I learn from this? Make it as an opportunity to learn. We don't know Damon Dash's real story here, but for all of us, beautiful that he took a risk. Sometimes risks fall apart, but for all of us listening today, stop when things fall apart, stop and think about what could I have done better that I didn't do? What were some blind spots there? Try to digest and to process failures so that you can turn it into a lesson, a learning lesson, so you don't repeat it. Because it seems like he's repeating failure after failure after failure, and that's a mistake.
You know, I saw a video, and it could be one of the ones that was sent, where he was saying, all the media against me is bad. When somebody else buys a house, it's a good thing. When I buy a house, it's a bad thing. When somebody else starts a business, it's a good thing. When I start a business, it's a bad thing. I think he might feel like he's being painted negatively in the media. Tiara, you are a person who's in the media. You stay in the news. You're tuned into Hollywood. You have actually worked with Damon Dash. Do you think, this is your opinion, he is being painted negatively, or do you think that his choices and decisions and the moves that he's making and how he's moving in business has kind of put him in this position that he's in today?
Yeah, I think that while I think Dame is a genius, I got to absorb some of his genius. I got to listen to him tell stories. He's quite a storyteller. He is a big thinker and a big dreamer. He thinks outside the box, which I absolutely love about him. But I also felt like, just as an observation, that he was stuck in 1999. He was stuck in big pimping ways. Like, there was still those habits of, like, when I had $50 million, I spend money like that. So let me spend $1 million. Let me make $1 million and spend $4. and then like try to figure out like then my name can secure me my name can secure another meeting. So I'll always have my name. People will always take the meetings. I could always go in and do a deal, and then I repeat, right? Then I'm up again, and then I'm down, and then I'm up, because I can always depend on my name for that. And I think that that's starting to run out. I think he's been looking for his next Roc-A-Fella Records since that whole thing happened with Jay, and he hasn't found it. He's tried cannabis. I worked with him at Dame Dash Studios. Like he's tried all of these different things, but nothing has got him back to Big Pimpin'. So I think that is why he's in this position, on top of
That's
other things.
on top of other things. In the chat, let me know. So again, today we're talking about from Roc-A-Fella to rock bottom. We're talking about Damon Dash having lost. I got my calculator out so I can see it. $49,900,000. He has lost. He started out with a $50 million net worth. He's now worth $100,000. So he has officially lost $49,900,000. In the chat, tell me, what would you do? What would you do if you lost $49.9 million? Constance, what would you do?
Kill myself. No, I'm kidding. One thing that somebody said is you only risk what you can afford, and I think that is very true. I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars taking risks. I have. I invested in a greenhouse, put $150,000 in there. I got no return on investment. Here's the thing about investing, though. I don't invest anything that I'm not willing to lose. I'm not going to lose my house. I'm not going to lose my car. I'm not betting at the casino. That's not why I lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in taking risks, but I made millions. And so you have to look at that. You have to look at your risk versus your reward and how you're willing to invest. So I've lost money for sure, but it's not more than I'm willing to lose. And so I love what Darlene said is, you don't gamble your investment. You don't risk more than what you're willing to lose or what you can't afford to lose.
That's the truth. What do they say? Don't play with the house money or something like that. Don't gamble with the house's money. Or you're only supposed to play with the house's money. That's what they say.
Yes, with the house's money. That's right.
The house's money. When you start playing with your own money, we got problems. And I think that's what Dame did. So if we look at the rise and the fall of Roc-A-Fella Records, in 1995, Roc-A-Fella Records started by Damon Dash and Jay-Z. In 1996, the company releases Jay-Z's debut studio album, Reasonable Doubt. Jay-Z sells half of Roc-A-Fella to Def Jam for a reported $1.5 million. And then in 2004, Def Jam buys the other half of Roc-A-Fella for $10 million. In 2005, Jay-Z is named the CEO of Def Jam in a deal that allowed him to continue to run Roc-A-Fella. And then in 2021, Jay-Z files a lawsuit alleging that Dash attempted to mint and sell part of the copyrights to Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt as an NFT to sell at an auction settlement eventually reached. And then today, Damon Dash, the tax authorities claim that Damon Dash owes more than $8.7 million in unpaid taxes and penalties from personal income he reported from 2005 and 2018, and that the Roc-A-Fella auction might be their last shot at recouping debt. He also has some other ventures. What is this? Armadale Vodka, Tourette, New York, which is a luxury watchmaker, Dash, DeBella, boxing, short-lived business to promote boxing, Block Savvy, Dame Dash Studios, Blue Rock Records, Dash Motors, and cannabis. I'm curious to know what those businesses are doing. How do you have $8.75 million of debt? You're only worth $100,000, but you have all of these different businesses.
Well, you know how. Businesses are entities. That man is not broke. He is worth $100,000. His businesses are likely not worth $100,000. So that's the whole point, and that's being an astute businessman, right? Is you put all of your businesses under different entities, and so therefore your businesses are all protected and you're protected. So if somebody comes after and they try to sue you, then all your businesses are protected as long as your corporate veil is protected, as long as you are not piercing the corporate veil by commingling and not operating your businesses or your corporations effectively, then your businesses they'll stay protected. The problem with a lot of people, especially when people are just getting into entrepreneurship and they're setting up their entities, is they're not making sure that everything is done correctly, and they're therefore piercing the corporate veil. And if you get sued, so if you do pierce the corporate veil, you get sued, everything is at stake. Everything is at risk because you've commingled, because you haven't kept proper documentation. And so that's the reason why he's able to have all these businesses that are probably profitable. It's just him, that's the smart thing to do. When 50 filed bankruptcy, do you think he was really bankrupt? No. All of his money were tied up in his corporations.
True that. So I'm looking at the chat.
I don't believe it.
I see
I don't
Ebony
believe it.
Eyes. You don't believe? Oh, he has money. We're gonna go to that video in a second. We're gonna go to that video in a second because he says I'm broke because I can't help nobody else. He's like, I got shit, but I can't help you. We're gonna go to that video in a second. Ebony Eye says the problem with Dame Dash is that he got into business with a snake who was doing everything to destroy him behind the scenes. Jay-Z is a snake. Now we're gonna talk about that because we're talking about later on down the line. This other one says, Glocko Bangs says Dame lost his 50 million because he refused to use other people's money. Now, do we think he refused to use other people's money, or do we think other people was not giving him money due to the fact that he was painted as the bad guy, the bad cop, if you will? He has, quote unquote, a God complex. Do you think it was hard for him to get money, Dr. Alicia?
When I'm hearing some of these, that timeline that was up, I was just like, wow, what is up? When you have a trail of failed endeavors following behind you, and that means, coupled with that, you also have a trail of failed business partnerships behind you. So your, more than money, your reputation with working with individuals in a collaborative way where it's lucrative, the reputation is what's more important than just wealth, right? So your wealth comes from being able to network, being able to work with individuals, being fair with people. If you have a trail of all of these failed businesses, trail of failed grievances that you have with everybody you work with, people do start to look at you and wonder, what's going on with him? He's the common denominator in all of these things that are just going downhill. And he needs to take a look at how he has contributed to the failure of all of these things. Again, it really takes some deep processing. And I think so much of individuals who don't want to see how they're done, their part in things, they want to point the finger and say it's everybody else. But, meanwhile, how is he going to have a business relationship going forward with anybody when he has this reputation of nobody vouching for him? It's going to be a dilemma for him. No man can do it alone. You cannot run a business and all of these lofty, big dreams. You can't do it solo. You need help. So I really encourage him, and all of us, to know it's so important to be able to work with other individuals.
I like that. So I'm gonna ask this question before I go to Tiara. In the chat, I know there's more than a few of y'all. You guys are here on Fly Nubian Money, so I'm gonna guesstimate about how old you are. You don't have to tell me, but if you were around when the first album hit, Reasonable Doubt, if you were around, if you heard a song off of that, if you bought the CD, because those are CD days, it might even have been tapes, but I'm probably thinking CDs. If you were around at that time, throw a $14.99 in the chat, because that's about how much CDs cost back then. So if you were around when Reasonable Doubt came out and you bought that CD, throw a $14.99 in the chat, $14.99 in the chat. That way you don't have to tell me how old you are. Tiara,
yes,
you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
I'm an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Dr. Alicia's an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Constance Carter's an entrepreneur.
I'm an entrepreneur.
You're an entrepreneur. Damon says he's broke because he invested in his dreams. What do you think about, as an entrepreneur, stepping out on faith, taking risks, and investing in your dreams? How far are you willing to go? What do you think about that kind of a mindset? Because I got a kid. I'm gonna go the distance, but I just don't know how far I'm gonna go. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, sometimes I think it's important, like Dr. Alicia said and Constance said, it's important to take risks, and it's important to be brave and but they have to be calculated. If you have children, and I have a daughter, and so I don't ever want to live in a space where I don't, it's unstable for her, or like we're moving from place to place. There's foreclosures, there's, you can't, there's evictions and foreclosures and things happening. That's how you know that, like, I need to get a night job or something. Like, I need to figure out how to keep my life stabilized while I'm waiting for the big dreams to come. But in Dame's situation, I've literally heard in real life him say, like, who am I going to work for? Who is Dame Dash going to work for? I'm never going to work for anyone else, so I got to get it myself. And so just thinking about like, I just think about, if that is going to be your path, right? I keep saying this, like, you can get money from your name. Like, you can get a meeting just because of who you are, taking advantage of that. Like, I felt like, and when I look at the internet and do research, I know that he's being sued, and he has to pay people because he's taking advantage of them. Like, we went into partnership, and then, you sold a movie behind all your partners' back, and you have the million, you have the money, but you left them out, and you went and spent the money, to catch up on bills. So I think that's not what you asked me, but I just wanted to say that, because
He says, I'm a boss. I'm a
yeah,
boss.
I'm a boss. But you're like, you're like Dr. Alicia said, you're leaving this trail behind of,
Right.
like, shade. Like,
Right. And
you do shady things.
that's the thing about life. It doesn't even have to be business, but karma is a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
The things that you put out there are the things that you're going to get back. And I'm glad you brought that relational piece up, Dr. Alicia, because I think that is extremely important. People are so short-sighted, and they are so concerned about the short term that they don't look at the bigger picture. That's why you have all these people out here doing these get rich quick schemes, and taking people for their money and doing all these just shady things, because they're just looking at the right now. And if you look at holistically how far relationships will take you, then you would change the way that you do business. And I think, please, Black people, if you don't get anything from this podcast today, understand that the way you have relationships and the way you do business with people and the way you treat people, it comes back to you.
It
It
does.
really does.
I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised when I saw
All those
the
lawsuits.
articles. I wasn't surprised. I was like, oh yeah, because
it makes sense, right?
Yeah,
This is who
like,
he
this
is.
is what you, this is
What
who
he
you
embodies.
are.
That's the
Yeah.
energy that he puts out, right?
Yeah, that's how you
Yeah.
And
move.
not just in business. I know we're talking about business, but karma's a
life.
bitch.
It's a bitch in life.
All the time.
Yeah. Somebody
Personally, professionally, how you treat people, like, treat
It will
people how
come
you
back.
want to be treated.
It will come back.
It will.
Okay, so let's reset this room here real quickly. Our other executive producer just text messaged me with his story, but we're gonna get to that in a second. We're gonna get to that in a second.
Oh,
This
I just got a text from him too.
Did you get it too? Tell my story. Tell my story.
Jesus.
He didn't say that. That's just I'm ad-libbing. So this is Fly Nubian Money. You can catch us every Monday through Friday at 1:00 p.m. Eastern, right here on Fly Nubian Queens. You can also text the word Queens to 87948. Again, that's 87948. That way you can be notified when we're live. Especially if you're at work and you don't want people to know, you get that little text message, say, hey, we live. You can throw your earphones on, you can tune in. You can also find us on Spotify. You can go over there, look for Fly Nubian Money, and you can check us out there. Or you can go to flynubianmoney.com for any financial tools and resources that you might like. There's some freebies and some different cool things over there for you. Today we're talking about Damon Dash, from Roc-A-Fella to rock bottom. What happened to Dame Dash $50 million fortune? Right now, he owes $8.7 million in back taxes. His net worth is about $100,000. And we're going to go to that video where he is talking about the actual sales. So his third of Roc-A-Fella Records is up for sale right now. And so he is doing some shucking and jiving, trying to get people to bid on it for $10 million or over. And this is the video that was
Not the
on
shucking
Instagram.
and jiving.
As I said, shucking and jiving. This is the video where he's trying to get that number up.
As we all know, 1/3 of Roc-A-Fella Inc., which owns Reasonable Doubt, is for sale. And I've gotten a lot of calls, a lot of offers. I, I don't know if people are hummer stunting, or not. We'll see who shows up. But I definitely got some very healthy offers, and I appreciate those. And obviously, if someone's trying to hate on the price or trying to devalue it, it would be because they want to buy it. Like a first right of refusal. So, if you do want to buy 1/3 of Roc-A-Fella Inc., you are going to have to bring some bread. And anything over 10 million, I'm going to sweeten the pot. You get an original Roc-A-Fella chain from off my neck.
Boy,
So,
bye.
I say, because I was the only one that gave out Roc-A-Fella
Like
chains when Roc-A-Fella really existed.
Right.
I don't
nobody
give you the
want
chain.
that
It's
kid.
not a legit Roc-A-Fella chain. You
Okay.
get one of these.
Okay, let me just tell y'all. The word of the
I
day
feel like
is
sell
not-
it, get your
wait.
money back.
The word of the day is not Dame Dash, it's lame trash. That's garbage. Lame trash, y'all. Come on. That was lame. And so he's shucking and jiving, and he trying to sell something that he has no right to sell, or he doesn't benefit from.
Wait, because I saw an article with the article. It's so funny because he's lying. The attorney,
Right.
I read an article
Crazy.
saying the attorney said that he has no, he can't negotiate any of this. He has nothing to do with this process of the third being sold. So he just on the internet fronting. And I
Right.
and like,
No, like Lene said, shucking and jiving.
oh my God. That's
I wasn't
so
even gonna say
funny.
that, but when I just see what he did to somebody.
Well, they say the roosters will come home to roost, or whatever.
The chickens will come home to roost.
Come home to roost. You can't listen. Diddy's getting it. You can't treat people a certain kind of a way for a very long time and expect that it doesn't come back to you. Somebody said in the chat, why y'all treating him like that? Let's address that.
Yeah.
We're not treating him any kind of a way. We were just talking about the situation. If your cousin had $50 million and lost it, and now it's only worth $100,000, you would talk about it too. What can we learn from this? How can we make sure that when you get $50 million, you don't have these same issues and problems? That's what we're talking about. How does this happen? Right? But also, what did he do? What was his involvement? What was his aura, his karma? How is he moving in business that caused this? Because I'm going to tell you straight up, God's my witness. If I come across $50 million, trust me, I'm gonna have
You ain't gonna lose
all
it.
said and done. Okay.
You gonna still have it? Okay.
If I come across 50 million, I'm gonna have 100 million when it's all said and done.
Let's go. No, but he said he wants to be broke. Because when you invest, you are broke. What did he say? What that stupid ass shit he said in the beginning?
He following his dreams, girl. He's
Shut
following
up.
his dreams.
Shut up. That sounds like some when raggedy ass Negroes be trying to spit game at you, and you be like, you don't shut your ass up. That's what that sound like.
Yeah.
Wait, let me ask this to Dr. Alicia. Dr. Alicia.
Okay, sorry about that.
What do you think about this kind of mindset? Is it a strength or is it risky? Because in one essence, to be an entrepreneur and business owner, you have to be a little bit off. You have to be a little bit crazy to take the last thing that you have and put it into a business. Because we do that. We will take our last and invest it. We are crazy.
Yeah.
But is that risky or is that a strength?
And not only is it risky, but a lot of times we hear success stories where people say, I took my last $5,000 and I created this big $1 million business. And you hear these stories and you're like, oh, you get inspired by people's stories. And I'm certain along the way, there were obstacles that people had to go through. So, I think like listening to him and when he got to the point about he's selling his chain, I got the sense of that.
Well, he didn't
desperation.
Don't do that. He didn't say he was selling his chain. He said he was giving it away. Don't say
it's a bonus. Yeah, if you spend 10 million, you can get this $100,000 chain.
I'm telling you,
give him a little bit. Give him a little bit. Yeah, sell this chain.
That, to me, I don't know if he realizes he's coming across as so
corny.
He's coming across as desperate.
He is
sad,
desperate.
almost anxious. He probably didn't even rehearse it. It probably was just like,
I hope he didn't.
it's like he got into this mindset. People are not going to think that this is worth as much as it is. So I need to do this quick sales tactic of throwing this bonus in to galvanize people to be excited about my product and what I have to give.
This is not 1990, boo. That dip thing, though, that tactic does not work.
Can I ask Dr. Alicia a question? Okay, Dr. Alicia, this is my question to you.
We don't want the chain, Guillermo.
Let me ask Dr. Alicia this. Dr. Alicia, with him being, with him having, is this delusion, can it be considered like a mental illness at some point? And this is what I mean. If you always are in a position where you feel like you can make it back, this God complex that we're talking about, if you feel like I'm gonna pour all of my money into everything that I have 10 ventures, I'm gonna put money into every one of them instead of just focusing on one, right? Feeling like you're waiting, or I don't know if it's like he's looking for something to stick, you know what I mean? Or like, is there a mental illness in there after a while where you feel like, I've had all this money, I know I can make money? And so,
there could be a mental illness. I wouldn't know for him in particular because I haven't spoken to him at all. But I think, it's a double-edged sword. It's great to want to be ambitious and start all these different projects. But again, it takes time and effort to complete it. Like, everybody knows Dr. Boyce. He's a mile a minute. He has all these different ideas. And then sometimes I worry, like, oh my God, is he just this big risk taker? But, then I watch him. He's like, no, let's calculate. Let's figure it out. So it's like he has this sort of balance to it where he's just like, we have to make these practical decisions now, and we have to execute this one thing. So the ideas are beautiful, but you also have to have the ability to stop and think and go, how do we prioritize all of this? How do we strategically put this together? There's bits and pieces that are there that need to complete something in its full cycle so that you can reap the benefits of it and not just have all of these risky things happening over and over again. And, it's good to get into this money personality. It's good to know if you're going in business with somebody, have them take a money personality test. I have the couples that I work with who are about to get married, and they're like, Dr. Alicia, we're getting married. What should we do? They have to take a money personality test. They have to talk about their history with money, and they share each other's scores, and they have to have a conversation about how I look at money, what's my relationship with money, and how are we going to help this process on the way forward. I really encourage individuals who collaborate, because remember, you can't do a business on your own. You have to do business and collaborate with other people. Have them take a money personality test before you sign that contract, so you know who and what you're getting into this relationship with. And I think that's what people need to do with individuals like Damon Dash. I don't know. I can't diagnose him with a mental illness, but it needs to be done.
Go ahead.
So somebody said that mental illness is entrepreneurship. Are you sure it's not narcissism? Are you sure it's not, like Andrea said, delusions of grandeur? What, you know what I mean? What
could be? It could be. I mean, we definitely see elements of it. I mean, that timeline is telling, you definitely see elements of it, but I wouldn't know because I'd have to interview him and talk to him and all of that. But I think, you just have to be careful with who you decide you're going to get into a marriage with in business. You need to really be strategic and make it's fun and exciting. Somebody can be fun and exciting the first month or so, but you have to really get references. Give me a list of people that you worked with before. Make sound decisions. And then it makes sense to have all these lofty dreams because you have a nice solid foundation of which you're going in business with someone and you're not like up at night worried, is this person going to take my money and run?
Yeah.
Listen, so today we're talking about from Roc-A-Fella to rock bottom, what happened to Dame Dash $50 million fortune. He's only worth about $100,000 now. This is Fly Nubian Money. You can catch us here every Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Okay, so there was a comment that said, let me go back to it. Ricardo Stalwart, Dame is a very smart man. If he was like most people in the entertainment industry, he'd be just as rich as Diddy and Jay-Z. He prioritizes art over the money like Kanye.
No, he's supposed to be. He's not a businessman. He's a businessman.
And no, Jay is a businessman.
That's right. But Dame is supposed to be a businessman too. So no, you don't as a businessman, because the artist is who prioritizes art over business. Then you're supposed to have the brain like Dame. And Dame, you just like you said, Tier, he is a highly intellectual person.
Oh my God, he's
Yeah,
so brilliant.
he's a
He's a genius.
Yeah.
He is.
But he's
It's
probably,
his spirit. Sorry.
and that'll ruin it.
It's his
I don't give a
spirit.
damn
It's
how. Yes.
It's his mindset. It's his mindset. It's his spirit. He talks over people when they, he does not listen. He's very stubborn. He's bullheaded. All of those things. Like I observed that in the first day we were working together. I noticed that. I said, oh, I can see why Jay-Z would leave this situation. I'm Tierra.
I'm tired in a day.
And I want to leave. Like I want to leave, and I'm not Jay-Z, right? Like I could see why. He doesn't listen to people very well. It's like,
oh shoot.
Oh, she'll come back. There she goes. Wait,
You lost
maybe
your
she's not. Okay, so this is what I was gonna say. And hopefully this will address Kiki's comment. He said the name of this channel, it's called Black Excellence, but it's literally 4 Black women talking about another man's broke issues. Imagine that. What we're actually talking about is financials, how you go from $50 million to $100,000. I don't care if you're black, white, yellow, purple. We don't talk about it. How do you lose that kind of money? But let me back up. Number one, no shade, not taking anything away from Damon Dash and what him and Jay-Z were able to do during that period of time. Kudos to 2 young Black men able to build a record label. Absolute, and one big, there was 3 of them. Not taking anything away from him from that. What we're talking about is how it went left. Good cop, bad cop. At some point in time, when you are the bad cop, the person who has to come in and be the strong arms and be the loud and the aggressor, the person who's not ends up getting the crown. They're the calmer, cooler person. People start getting in there. Hey, you don't really need old boy. Like we can come and just come partner over here. Let's come do this deal. Do you want to be the CEO of this? Like, and you can see how there's a separation between the good cop and the bad cop. Dame pulled the short stick. I don't take anything away from that. He got the raw end of the deal. He did. That's what it is. But his demeanor, who he is, how he acted, didn't help it. When that was said and done, I'm not a big rapper or hip hop head, but I know that Jay-Z has this verse that says, if you made one, make another one. And he has spent his time trying to make another one, whether that is through rappers or businesses or ventures, to reproduce what he did with him. And in doing so, you guys have posted it, talked about it in the comments. He used his own money. Entrepreneurship 101. Don't use your money unless you're bootstrapping it, like some of us are. But if you have connections to millions of dollars and you have people that you can call, you never use your own money. You do partnerships. You bring other people to the table. So what we're talking about is how to do better business.
Can
so
I add to that?
Lose $49,900,000.
Right. Irv Gotti sold his catalog. Was it $100 million? So he got $100 million cash, right? He's like, I'm getting ready to start investing in movies. And he has all his money to invest in movies. The same company who gave him the $100 million also gave him a line of credit. He said, I'm not using my own money. This is legacy money. So just to your point, Lene, is that wealthy people, they know how to use leverage or OPM to make more money. We don't use our own money. So that is, just like you said, business 101. Many of his peers know the rules. And I don't understand. I think it was just an excuse because he's just not a smart. I don't know. What is it? Why would he say that? Because he knows. Why would he say I'm using my own money to make more money when everybody knows that you don't use your own money? And I'm asking this to you, Tierra. Why would he say I'm using my own money to make more money when we all know business wise, that's not what you do?
Because he doesn't like to answer to people. Like, why would he, if he doesn't want to feel like he's owned, the moment somebody gives him money, it's like, I don't want you to own me. Immediately, like he don't take that real well. Like Dame is not, he like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be a mogul. I'm gonna do it myself. But you know what, Dr. Lene, you just said something about him making, Jay did say, you made Hove, okay, make another Hove, right? Mm-hmm. But he did. He made his ex-wife, Rachel Roy, who was also worth a lot of money. He just has an eye for talent. He saw Kanye. He saw, he saw all the things. He saw things in Cam, Kanye, all these different people that went on to make money. Well, maybe not Cameron, but you know what I mean. So he has an eye for talent. It's just like, he should be a billionaire, but he's not because of he's in his own way.
Attitude.
And I think that's it. That is the answer. There's no other. He's in his own way, always.
And that doesn't take away from his brilliance. It doesn't take away from his smarts. It doesn't take away from the catalog that he's been able to create. It speaks to the ability to leverage those things, right? And we definitely don't want. I'll ask it this way. You guys are in the chat. Let me know. Would you do a business deal with Damon Dash? Let me know in the chat
No,
right now. Would you
No,
do a
absolutely
business
not.
deal with Damon Dash?
no.
That's what I
You know,
want to know.
I'd rather be broke. Synergy is
He,
extremely important.
he gonna steal your
And
money because he desperate.
Listen, I want to say, looking at some of the comments in the chat, it's obvious that even though Damon Dash has this history, there are opportunities. There's still fans. There's still people who believe in him, who want
Yeah,
him to turn it around. No, nobody loves a success story than I do, right? Where you're at rock bottom. So what's the day from Roc-A-Fella to rock bottom to back at the top? Like, it's never too late to rebuild, to learn. Even though, let's see, Damon Dash, even if you're 50 something years old, you're never too old to learn a lesson, and you're never too old to capitalize on things. He still has a fan base. He still has his name. Everybody knows the name Damon Dash. There's a lot of potential capital in that, and he's at an advantage, right? And so, we all know starting a business now is so much easier to do now. You could just go on the internet, and in a day's time, you could get your LLC, you could start a business and do things. Even now, even all of us who have no name at all can do things, right? So
yeah,
it's so much easier now to be an entrepreneur. This is the best time to be an entrepreneur. So I think that someone like a Damon Dash, who has already made and established himself, there are people in the chat love him. There are people who love him. He can come back. I still have hope that he could figure things out and work things out and be successful. So it's never too late. And I hope he doesn't get into this bitterness that I sensed in some of the way he's speaking. All of us, we don't, just because you have failed relationships doesn't mean you need to be bitter about it. Learn from it, and you could, the sixth marriage could be the one marriage for you. So don't be ashamed of your financial history. Don't be ashamed of your romantic history. It's never too late to really pull things together, even in your 50s. So I'm giving hope to Damon Dash, not him particular, but to all of us listening, because we're just using his story as an illustration, right?
yeah.
Teaching the people and demonstrating what we need to do in business and what some of the things we need to avoid.
Does he need
Okay,
to
I'm
go to
gonna go to a couple
therapy?
of different comments.
I think we got a beta male running rampant in the comments.
Well,
But
I'm
anyway.
not going to do his yet. I'm not going to do his yet. There's a couple one up top that I wanted to address before we got to his. Ricardo Stalwart said, Dame is arrogant, I admit, but he likes working with his own people, which has limitations when you dream big and require big capital. Jay-Z and Puff work with them folks who lend with nasty conditions. And then he said, you can't forget the people who told other people not to do business with Dame. And somebody else said, his attitude is a confident, self-assured, capable Black man that's scary to America. Now, I'm not even going to disregard any of those things. I'm going to say that they are a strong Black woman in Dame Dash, right? He does speak with confidence. He shows up and he says he knows his value. He don't let you play in his face.
Yeah,
Those things are true. He does do shady business as well.
yeah,
Those things are true too.
yeah.
But from a business perspective, when we talk about entrepreneurship and we talk about playing with your money, we talk about showing up for your people, and we talk about don't let people play in your face, he does do that. What you guys, what say you?
Um, I wonder, Dr. Alicia, I just wonder if he needs some therapy before we can say, like there has to be a shift. You can't just wake up one day and be different unless you want to, like you can't also say like I'm a shady businessman sometimes, or I'm desperate, so sometimes I do shady things. And then also, like I feel like we're saying, yes, he's
But that's
brave, he's
not
confident.
psychological. That's everybody.
That's
Everybody got a shady side. Everybody do a little bit of something shady.
for
But we're
sure.
not doing it at the tune of $50 million.
Does that mean he needs to go to therapy before to clean out that bitterness, that what the thing that we see that's on the videos, does he need to clean that out before he can kind of go in a different direction? Because I think there has to be
Yeah.
change.
Yeah, I mean, he clearly needs a team of people to support him. And so I don't know how he's talking about my money only goes to me, it's not going to other people. Like, I mean, you need a team of people. You need to invest in yourself means you need to invest in a team of people that can support you. So he definitely needs to have a place where he's got to have give his ear to somebody, right? He needs to have
Okay.
the smart business owners seek out individuals that they can lean on for guidance and mentorship. There's got to be someone that just honestly, just talking out your issues with somebody that's listening can help you sort of sort it out in your head. So hopefully, if not therapy, hopefully he can come together with a supportive group of people. It doesn't have to be a lot of people who can help him flesh out his thoughts, organize everything. If he is the lofty dreamer, every lofty dreamer needs to have a detailed person with them to be able to say, in order to do that, we got to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. So he has to be able to lean on the detailed person. And he's not married, so I don't know if he's in a relationship with someone, but usually your significant other could be that balance to you. But whatever it is, he needs to seek a balance out, because lofty people have all of these great ideas, but you need someone with you to iron out some of the details. And that's a lesson for all of us. In your business, if you're a detailed person, you need to find a lofty person to hang out with so they can give you all these great ideas and then you can execute it. It's a balance there.
Yes. All right. So I see constant setbacks. She want to get to Kiki. So let's get to Kiki. Kiki at 10:34 says,
You mean
"Stop
the
telling us
beta
what
male?
y'all are
Wait,
talking about."
the self-proclaimed beta male, because only a hit dog will holler. But go ahead.
Listen, so we're gonna start with Kiki at the top. Stop telling us what y'all are talking about. We're literally watching y'all. So let's do some educating. That's called a reset, sir. The reason why we do that is because your numbers fluctuate high and low. New people come into the room. And when new people come into the room, they say, well, what are you talking about? And so what we do is we reset the room and we tell them, hey, this is Fly Nubian Money. If you would like to be notified when we are live, Monday through Friday at 1 o'clock p.m., you can text the word Queens to 87948. Again, that's Queens to 87948. Today, we are talking about from Roc-A-Fella to rock bottom. What happened to Dame Dash's $50 million fortune? Because as of today, he is worth $100,000. So now, everybody who has come into the room since the last time I said that, they know what we are talking about. So let's go into your next comment. Let's see. They debating whether a man's catalog was worth $100 million. This is the target audience for a Black man's demise, literally right here in your face.
We debate that.
It says, just make sure it's not self-hate when Black men start doing it back and don't automatically become victims. Times are changing. Laugh out loud. Just trust it. Who else makes this an actual topic? Like, let's debate who's broke and who's not. How does this push us forward? Wait, I haven't got to my favorite one yet. I'm looking for it. There it is. Why do y'all feel that y'all opinion needs to be, I'm reading it literally how it's written. Why do y'all feel that y'all opinion needs to be seen or heard about another Black man? Black women have so many topics y'all could cover about yourself. Can y'all talk about y'all, Sexy Red, Nicki Minaj? Now, the beauty of this, wait, hold on. One more. Like, I'm trying to tell dudes in the comments, Black men are literally used as a source of entertainment for Black women. Check the Shade Room comments every day if you don't believe me. Look, y'all, what I said is happening. It's self-hate. I'm beta now.
Beta now. So who said he's only a hit dog will holler? Only a hit dog will holler.
There's so much to unpack there. First of all, right? We talk about things that affect Black people. The name of the channel is Fly Nubian Queens. The name of the broadcast of this podcast of this what we do is called Fly Nubian Money. Now, I might not be the smartest one on the panel, but $50 million sounds like we're talking about money. Therefore, we are on topic because we're talking about money. Now, although a lot of us may not touch $50 million in our lifetime, you may touch $50,000. You might touch $500,000, and you should know not to lose it by 99%. So, although the numbers that we're talking about are in millions, this is applicable to anybody that is an entrepreneur who gets a large sum of money that then loses it. It doesn't matter if you get $100,000 and you lose it. If you get $50,000 and you lose it. If you come across $1 million and you lose it, there are things that you should be learning about, practices, team building, karma that you can get from us so that you don't have to go down this path. Your tune might not be 50 million, but it might be 50,000. So that's why we can sit here and have these conversations. I have touched $1 million. Constance has probably touched tens of millions of dollars, right? We've played in entrepreneurship. We've lost money. We can give our experiences about it. And so that's why we can sit here and have these conversations and give our opinions.
To add to that, we ain't talking about the man's masculinity. We ain't talking about the man's sexuality. We ain't talking about anything personal. We're actually talking about business and how you operate in business. This is not about tearing down a black man. This is just like you said, Dr. Lene, finances. We talk business. So we're talking about the fact that he had $50 million and what caused this $50 million demise. Well, probably attitude, probably business acumen, probably financial misappropriations. Those are all topics that we're talking about, Beta. So we ain't talking about the man's sexuality. We ain't even talking about him as a black man. We're talking about business acumen and why he went from $50 million to $100,000. So I'm so glad that she reset the room. So let's go ahead and watch the video so you can actually have an idea that there is context to what it is that we're saying.
Warner was also going to offer him a pretty high-ranking position. For Jay-Z, the allure was much greater for Def Jam because they gave him the opportunity to get his masters back.
A label has the ability to repackage and sell masters to generation after generation after generation of cats.
I think that any artist who manages to regain ownership of his master recordings has done something remarkable. Artists come and go. The recordings are more or less eternal, and they can be exploited indefinitely.
So for someone like Jay to be in a position where he owns most of his masters of his catalog, I mean, that's an asset that is very rare.
So shortly after Jay-Z accepted the deal to become head of Def Jam, he took Damon Dash out for dinner, and he said, I'm going to take this offer. You and Biggs can have full control of Roc-A-Fella Records. I want full control of my masters for Reasonable Doubt. And he says that Damon Dash turned him down. What Jay-Z ultimately did was kind of an end around on Damon Dash. He said, well, how about you make me CEO of Def Jam? Roc-A-Fella would be under that, kind of leapfrogging Damon Dash in the corporate totem pole. Damon Dash, of course, did not respond well to this. Initially, they gave him his own imprint, Damon Dash Music Group, but that fizzled out after a few months. The next time they saw each other was in an elevator at the Def Jam offices. Jay-Z was in a suit, and Damon Dash was wearing jeans and sneakers, and he just kind of thought, man, this is a different dude than the dude I started out with.
Okay, so that's, I think, a good example of everybody can't go with you. Can you guys hear me? Okay. I think that's a good example of everybody can't go with you. And I really don't want to give old boy no more shine, but I saw something and I just wanted to hit on it and I can't even find the comment. I can't even find it. It was something good too. I wanted to, anyways. He was saying we're talking about Damon being broke. We're not talking about the fact that he's broke. Nobody is shading the young man for being broke. We're talking about losing money. How do you go from $50 million to 100,000 net value, net worth? Now, in the chat, he got chains on. He got more money than that, right? He has a house. He got more money than that. We know he probably got money someplace in somebody's name. These are things that right? We know that. We just don't feel like we have to explain that to you because we just assume that you know it, right? But when you're talking about net worth, from 50 million net worth to 100,000 net worth. Like that's something to be talked about. Um, in the Black community, a lot of us, the majority, not even a lot, the majority of Black people will never touch $1 million. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but that's the truth. The majority will not touch $1 million. You have this Black man that touched $50 million and lost it. So that is a conversation to be had to make sure that if you and your family or your business is blessed to touch $1 million, what do you do, and or what can you do to make sure that you don't lose it? What does that look like? Are you operating with integrity? Are you treating people kindly? Are you taking advantage of opportunities as they're being laid in front of you? Are you doing good cop, bad cop? Are you making good investments? Are you taking risky investments? Like that is what the conversation is about. We're looking at what happened to that $49 million. Where did it go? What could have been done differently so that you, when your business blows up and pops like I know it will, that won't happen to you. You have Constance here, who's a realtor and a real estate investor who can talk to you about better ways to do investing. You have Tiara here, who is in the entertainment industry, and so if you're looking to make a movie or you're looking to do something in Hollywood with your money that you made in your business, you know who to go to. If you're not sure what to do, or you're psychologically dealing with imposter syndrome, you've got this money, you've made this money, you're holding on to it tight, and you don't want to make any investments because you're scared. You got Dr. Alicia here who can talk to you about, okay, let's talk about what's going on with your money and why you feel that way. I'm sitting here, I am a business strategist. I actually help you, specifically Black business owners, to triple their revenue as a monetization strategist. So I help you come up with products, goods, and services so that you can use your talent to make money. So all four of us are qualified to have this conversation as entrepreneurs, as people who have made money, but more importantly, as people who show up for Black people to make sure that you yourself don't have these experiences in your finances and in your business. Okay, with that being said, as business owners and experts, what can we learn from Damon Dash about the importance of planning and managing money well? Constance.
Protect your assets. Make sure that, and I think maybe he has, like I said in the beginning, the reason why you set up different entities is to be able to protect you personal. The reason why you have LLCs is to limit your personal liability. And so when you have your businesses set up, like say you have 10 different businesses, you don't want them all under one umbrella, because if one business gets sued, then all of them are affected. And that's the reason why he has multiple businesses under different LLCs. Now, says his net worth is $100,000, but if he's the owner of the businesses, the corporations, the LLCs, then that should be reflective a little bit on his bottom line. But perhaps he's not, because I know what it is when you're a business owner, when you're an entrepreneur. Come on, entrepreneurs and business owners, we try to have the least amount of tax liability. We try to have the most amount of write-offs because we don't want to pay Uncle Sam. So, just make sure that when you are starting your businesses, and I know everybody, since 2020, everybody got an LLC. They told you to get an LLC and you thought you was going to be rich. And that's not the case. So if you have an LLC, please close it, because you will get charged $500 a day if you open it this year. If you don't do this, the Corporate Transparency Act on your businesses. And at the end of the year, if you filed it prior to 2024, you will be paying $500 a day. So business owners, please make sure that you, if you're not using your LLCs or your businesses, just close them for now until you are able to. But that's all I got to say. Just protect your assets.
Okay. Tiara, have you ever faced financial challenges in your business or personal life, and how did you handle them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially working in the entertainment industry. It's so unstable. From month to month, I may be working with some celebrities or some, different people. Just, I might be working on a movie or whatever. And before you know it, like you literally are working from project to project. It's very project based, right? So I learned very quickly that creating something outside of this, that still allows me to use my creativity, but allows me to also work beyond the scope of celebrities and people here in the business has really saved my life. So just knowing when to pivot and being humble about it, like not even worrying about what it looks like or what it feels like. I would rather pivot and make some changes than just to be broke trying to hold on to, 2 years ago or 3 years ago or 5 years ago. So
And I just want to say, for the people who just came on, Tiara told her experience with Dame Dash. So don't think that we just talk about him being mentally ill. She told about his attitude. She told about his energy. We talked about that. So if you didn't hear it and you only logged on to the part where we're actually talking about the mental part of it, I need you to go back and rewind it, and so you can understand what it is that we're talking about, so you won't take what we're saying out of context.
You know, and can I piggyback off that, Dr. Lene? I just want to say really quick to answer the question that you asked, Constance. I think my biggest lesson, just really from watching Dame, is to just stay humble and to be grounded and understand that, like, just and be open to other people telling you what to do, taking advice, not, you know, feeling like you know everything already. Because one of the things that I noticed is that he knows everything already, because he was like, yeah, we was doing that in 94. It's like, okay, the internet. He was
30
like, yeah,
years
I mean,
ago.
basically, I mean, we was on the internet in like the 80s. Like, I knew all about the internet. We used to call it Roc-A-Net. I was like, you know, it's just like you already know everything. Like, we can't tell you nothing. So
Can I say this? T. Harv Eker said the four most dangerous words is "I already know that." How can you grow if you already know? And a person who thinks that they know everything will stunt their own growth.
Yeah.
The whole truth, the whole truth. I'll say this. I saw one of the comments, and I think it was Kiki, talking about money and how are you guys talking about broke and you've never done these types of money and these numbers and this and the other. And so I will say that that's a great argument. I was literally having a conversation with somebody the other day, and I was like, God damn, I'm broke. My money is funny. I mean, I'm stressing out. And he was like, what are you talking about? I was like, my money is crazy. He was like, you make over $500,000 a year. You're not broke. And I was like, well, I'm not broke, but for my money, I'm broke. He was like, well, then you're not broke. Broke is, or not having money is relative to the level that you're on, right? If Damon Dash woke up with my money, he'd be crazy. He'd slip broke, right? But for somebody who's only making $50,000 a year, I'm making big money. So it's relative.
It's level.
The other thing is, I try not to say broke. I always be like, I'm in between blessings. You know what I'm saying? Did a pitch the other day.
Out of cash.
Yeah, I'm in between blessings, we're out of cash. It's really a conversation. At some point in time, you know, I hope to be talking about, dang, I lost $1 million. You know, but it's playing the game and it's playing it at your level. Broke has categories to it. So with that being said, we're going to go around the room. I'm going to let each one of the queens answer this final question and tell people where they can find you. The question is, how do you balance chasing your dreams with staying financially stable? We'll start with you, Dr. Alicia.
I just hats off to all of the creatives out there who are just living from one gig to the next. I that would drive me crazy. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I am very conservative when it comes to money. I have always lived beneath my means. I never feel like it's important for me to showcase and to, show a certain thing. I've always, trust me, I want to be able to go to sleep and not have to worry about money. And usually it doesn't take, I like to think that I'm low maintenance. Maybe my husband thinks different. I like to think that I'm very low maintenance when it comes to money, because I'm just happy with whatever. And that was something that was instilled in me when growing up. So that's one thing to look at when I think about Damon Dash and a lot of people entering into hip hop. They did not come from money. They're like the typical millionaire. 4 out of 5 millionaires came from nothing. So there is nobody to really show us and to guide us on what to do and how to navigate receiving large chunks of money. It's almost like when people win the lottery, what do? It's a blessing, but it also can be a curse. Now, the good thing with Damon Dash and people like that is that you did it once. So that's the hardest part, is to do it one time. You can do it again. And it is possible to do it again because you've already gotten your mind there. You've already accomplished it. The most difficult thing is when you haven't done it before. So that's a good thing. Hats off to you creatives. It's a labor of love for sure. I could not solely be dependent on just my entrepreneurship income. I need to have something stable for me to be comfortable. Anyway, if you are interested in working with me, you can contact me at Coaching with Dr. Alicia. I do work with couples who are fighting over money a lot. And it is a good thing to have conflict over money because there's a way where you can complement each other. You can contact me at Coaching with Dr. Alicia. You can also reach me and follow what I'm doing on Instagram at Coaching with Dr. Alicia.
Awesome. Thank you so much. What about you, Constance?
What was the question again?
The question was, how do you balance chasing your dreams with staying financially stable?
Well, I've been all over the board, y'all. 2009, been in business, filed bankruptcy, had a 379 credit score, broke, busted, disgusted. And guess what? I was 33 and I was making over $250,000 and I had more month than money. So wealth or money is not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you can keep at the end of the day. So I had to file bankruptcy. A year later, I opened up Catalyst Real Estate Professionals. It went on to become the largest Black-owned real estate firm in California. So I say you go through risks, you go through ebbs and flows. Balance, we talked about that in relationships and family, right? It's a myth. Sometimes I remember when I would have to decide on whether I was going to pay my mortgage or pay the lease to my office. And I would choose to pay the lease in my office because that was going to be the thing that long-term sustained my mortgage. So, as entrepreneurs, these are things and risks that we got to take. And if you're willing, if you in it for the long haul, and I had a partner at the time and she was like, well, shoot, I got to feed my family. Okay. So we see where your priorities are, but my priorities are sustaining this business. So guess what? I had to figure out and make sure that I did business by myself because I was the one who took the business seriously like a business. So these are decisions that we make. These are things that we do as entrepreneurs. It happens. And if you ain't got the stomach for it, then keep your 9 to 5. Dr. Alicia said she needs something stable in between, and that's okay because everybody's not built for entrepreneurship. Everybody's not built for business ownership. You're going to have feast and famine. And I tell people all the time that get into this business, it's going to be ebbs and flows. It's going to be days when we eating good. And it's going to be days when our ribs is in the back of our backs because just business and life, that's what happens. But I want to encourage those who have a passion and a desire to start their own business, to get out there, to say, hey, what's next for me? I want to do something. I want to live in my purpose. One of the things that I do is I help Black women figure that out. And so I love working with Black people. I love working with Black women. And just like you said, Dr. Alicia, the easiest thing, and anybody can make money, right? But the difference is a person who can make it, lose it, and make it again. And Dame Dash could make it, lose, and he can make it again because he's a smart man. Hopefully, I pray that he changes his attitude because relationships are worth far more than any amount of money that he can make. So where can you find me? Everywhere. I am Constance Carter. And yo, Kiki, we talked about a Black woman yesterday losing $9 million. So we talk about Black women too. We talk about finances. We talk about everything. We love it. And we glad you're here anyway, because we love the challenge.
Love the challenge. Love to hear the Black man's perspective. Gives us something to talk about. So please show up again tomorrow. Tiara, how do you balance chasing your dreams with staying financially stable?
So I am the one who moved to Hollywood at 22 years old. I moved here from New Orleans. I had Hurricane Katrina had just happened. I had $200 from FEMA. And when I got here on the ground, thank God is always have a way of like making me just meet people. And I'm just very good I just have good skills, right? People are attracted to who I am and what I stand for and what I do. And so not that I hit the ground running, but less than 10 months of me being in LA, I was on a tour with Morris Chestnut and all these different people just, doing my thing. And so I would just say, like, I've never been, and when I came off that tour, I had no money, right? So I understood very quickly that there was ups and downs to Hollywood and that I had to figure it out. But the thing was, I was never afraid to just try anything. Ever. I was like, oh, I'm gonna start a catering company. My auntie has one, and before I knew it, I was just like always trying things. So I would just say, in terms of balancing, balancing, now I have Lauren, I have my daughter, I have a 13-year-old, so I can't be the mother that's out here hustling and trying everything. I started something a little bit more stable that allows me to, work with businesses and be on somebody's payroll, but it's still creative. And so I would just say, for the people out there that are running businesses, you know, your skills can work for you, but if you need to get a night job, you know, it's okay. It's all right. It's all part of the process. I've worked at night. I've worked during the day. I've sold plates. I've done all the things just to make sure that I could still live and I would be okay. And so I think that that part of me is just like, I'm never scared to ask and I'm never afraid to go. And so you just gotta have that in you. You gotta have that dog in you to really like get what you need, you know?
I love that. Where can they find you?
Oh, I'm at Miss Black Hollywood across all platforms. That's MSBLACK Hollywood. And yeah, holla at your girl.
All of the things, all the things. So I'll answer that question before I close out. How do you balance chasing your dreams with staying financially stable? Um, I don't even know how I would answer that question. And I've had all this time to think about it, and nothing really came to me that was like from my heart. I didn't want it to be preset. I would say that this is a delicate road. You can have a $30,000 month and then a $0,000 month. You can have a $300,000 year and then a $142,000 year. Um, I understand the concept of going all in and taking big risks and betting it all because we literally do it every day. I don't discount or shade Dame for doing that because you have. What he said, I'm doing this. He said, I'm betting on my last name, or I'm doing this for my last name. I get that. That resonated in my soul. Like, I show up every day for my last name. I'm gonna put it all, like Constance says, I'm gonna pay the lease at my office before I pay the mortgage. I get that. I understand that because that's what we have to do. Is there balance? No, there's only harmony. Sometimes the office is gonna get it. Sometimes the mortgage is gonna get it. It just depends. What we want for ourselves and for you and for Black people is to be financially intelligent. We talk about emotional intelligence, but there's this financial intelligence. There's going hard in the paint. There's dreaming, believing in your dream. There's risk in it all. And then there's taking the time to self-evaluate. Think about your opportunities. Think about your path. Think about the ventures that weren't successful. Why weren't those ventures successful? Think about how you deal with people and treat with people. Think about if you're ethical. Think about if the deal that you're making with this person, would you want that deal made with you? Would you take the deal that you're offering somebody else? Like, and then especially with us as Black people. So I think I'm going to leave it right there. I will tell you guys, I am Dr. Lene Javette, and like Constance, I love Black people. Like, I have literally built my business around helping Black people, not just Black people, Black entrepreneurs. I hate that we have these stereotypes around our business, but I know why they're there. We get the least amount of funding. We have the least amount of business acumen. We get the highest price goods and services. Like, I know why our businesses function the way that they do. And oftentimes I'm the only Black person in the rooms and the conferences and at the tables that I'm at. And so I have made it my life's charge to help Black entrepreneurs, specifically service-based entrepreneurs, who package and sell their expertise to brand their brilliance. And I do it in a way that allows you to triple your revenue by creating new products, goods, and services, and or increasing your prices and or positioning yourself in the marketplace. And you can find me right there. I am Dr. Lene Javette. So that being said, if you enjoyed today's session, or if you didn't and you just want to come back and fight with us tomorrow, you can text the word Queens to 87948. Again, that's Queens to 87948, and you will be added to our text message directory so that you can get notified when we're live, which is every Monday through Friday at 1:00 p.m. Eastern. You can also go to flynubianmoney.com to get free tools, resources around financial literacy. You can also find us on Spotify. If you miss an episode and you want to hear us while you're driving, you can go to Spotify and look for Fly Nubian Money and re-listen to today's episode and any other episode that you might have missed. I think if you want to join, if you would like to be a guest, if you like to be one of the queens, if you can email, what is it? What is the email? Is it info at, is it about to come up? Thank you. Info at realvirtual.net. So if you think this is something that you would like to do, if you have an opinion that you want to provide, because these are opinions, right? You can come and join us. Email info at realvirtual.net. Let them know who you are, what you do, your background. I'm not sure exactly what all they ask, but that is how you can become a participant and be a queen on the show. That is our show for today, Thursday, September 5th, from Roc-A-Fella to rock bottom. What happened to Dame Dash's $50 million fortune? We love you. We appreciate you. Even you too, Kiki.
Come back and fight with us tomorrow. We love the fighting. Our producer doesn't like it, but we love it. Come back and fight with us. I love it.
I love
And
it.
maybe,
I mean, I'm
not fight. Give your aggressive opinion, right?
Come fight with us. We stay ready.
Listen, Coach said fight. So come back, see us tomorrow, 1 o'clock. As always, have a blessed day. Stay black and be one. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.